Hello and welcome to tonight's preview of Doncaster's Racer Post Greyhound TV action. Kicks off at 6:09. First race is an A3 grade event. Real wide open race this one. Although Rollo Lotto in track 3 is quite short, a puppy I suppose can improve and ran all right last time after having a little bit of a spell off the card for a couple of 3 weeks. I thought Sharpish Genie had a chance, and Sharpish Genie in trap 2 can lead and is moving off as well. So it's not really going to kind of help Rolo Lotto that much in the early exchanges. And Bananakill Tip in trap 4 met Sharpish Genie when we heartbreakingly tipped that one up and got chinned on the line last week. Bananakill Tip tried to challenge around the last 2 bends, but doesn't quite see the trip out. Thomas Alina was in that race as well, and that's the only one I probably really want to take on. Maybe even a place late for Thomas Alina in trap 5. True Mount Des is an interesting runner. Jimmy Gaskin's charge is stepping up from 450 to 483 and looks to be well suited by this step up in trip. So be interesting to see if there's any money for that one. Must have some kind of a squeeze. And because Sharpish Genie moves off into the middle of the track, Who's Alice up on the inside, who won last week, all right, has got another decent draw. She's more of a staying type. She doesn't want to get too detached, but she can stay on when probably 4 and 5 have cried enough. So an interesting race, but in the end, I swerved it, and it was a no-bet race. Probably just take on the 5 somehow. Race 2, the 6:28, is an A2 grade event, and it's a moderate A2, it has to be said. I sided with Penny's Endeavour here. Not always the best of breakers. There's not a lot of early speed in this race whatsoever. He's just got to avoid Brennan's Mottram, probably outstart Brennan's Mottram in trap 5, who will edge in a little bit. So might just give him a bit of grief in the opening exchanges. But if you get a snappy break, or a better break, if you like, 'cause he's not always the best of starters, Penny's Endeavour, then his early pace can take him to the front. I think he might be outsnapped at the start by Molly's Mill in trap 2, but showing zero pace really. Has got a good makeup in the fact that Jamura Smiles really lacking in early zip. Sharpie Strings is a bit of a one pacer likewise. And the danger, I think, to Penny's Endeavour is going to be late in the day, Ballybunion Bill. Now, if you remember, this one ran last week. We put up Massive Ego. And I think we're a little bit lucky because Ballybunion Bill came to challenge on the run-in and sort of got in a bit of a jostling and a barging match. I've never really seen him do too much like that before. He's a dog that stays really well. And I think if he gets any jump at these in the closing stages, he could very well get up. And I think Sean will, Parker, his trainer, will have seen what happened last week, and he might just give him a little bit of a switch and a bit of a change to freshen him up. He doesn't really want to be in trap 6, mind, but he will weave a late passage. And as I say, I think Penny's Endeavour will lead. Just got to clear Molly's Mill in the early exchanges. I think there's not too much early in the race, and that can happen. And then we're really just looking around for Ballybunion Bill. So it's bet 4 and 6 there at about 5 to 2 and 9 to 2 on the prices. Race 3, we're going to a B2 contest here for the 6:43. It's a 450 metre race. I thought it might be all on the snap here out of the break at the start. I think that Sing Along Dovey has got the decent pitch to probably work from. I made her a just about favourite in front of Nola's White Sox, her next door neighbour. And again, they're not really blinding early pace dogs, but they're decent enough starters. Head It on Lenny could put that into the equation as well with a bingo break in trap 3. Concatenation, I think, has got it all to do to clear the 3 of those. Keedy Rocket, I think, will struggle in this race. And Keedy Din's a puppy I like, but I think might just get tapped for toe and have the feet taken off in the early stages. But I wasn't really happy with the price of Sing Along Dovey. Drifted out to 3 to 1. Might have a little bit of a small bet on the Matchbook Exchange. Race 4, the 6:58, looks a pretty straightforward enough task for Free Inside. Now, Free Inside's over 4 years old, had over 100 races now as well. Actually, she won her 100th race, and she was running into a bit of form at that time. She's just gone off the ball a little bit, but this, although it says it's a B3, it's quite an easy B3, and it's one of the easiest races she's been in for a fair old while. The fact that she's more of a staying type, she needs a break to get into the contest just to turn in a pitch. Penny's Rascal on her immediate inside in 5 is a slow breaker and will move into the middle anyway, so that's going to be a big help for her. I thought the early pace might come from Fairy Hill Run, who's more of a smash breaker. Groves Hill Arrow's running all right, but will edge in a little bit from 3 into lane 2. That might give Melody's Pearl something to think about. And she's more of a staying type that gets outpaced and runs on late mind. And Boss Girl's got a good makeup here, really good break. But her last 4 races, she's completely missed the kick. And she's well capable of smashing out. So she could bounce back to form. But I think 3 inside's most likely winner, but been well found in the market. And I don't really want to bet a dog that's had over 100 races at a short price. Race 5, 7:18, tough race this one. Gemma Pops can break. Parkgate Champ likewise, not a lot to choose between them to the turn. Bashful Jess in trap 4 as well, another one, probably more of a trapper than an early pacer. Midtown Milo, a misbreaker that's got a little bit of pace, but I think up against it here class-wise. Rosanda Betts has got a good makeup, not always the best of bend runners, but she will be staying on in the closing stages, so she might be more of a frame-up dog. Rycroft Cleo probably got a little bit of a tougher task than of late in trap 2, and she'll just keep going in the closing stages. But again, tough enough race, wide open. I didn't really have a bet in race 5. Moving on to the 6, I think there's going to be a non-runner in this race, so I'm pretty sure that Beechwood Kate has been reported in season. So I've just moved on from that one. I don't know if there's a reserve or anything as yet. In race 7, the 7:56, we had a little bit of a tickle with Scarlet Beauty last week. She's 16 weeks out of season now. And I'm just going to have a little small bet on her again because she's around about 4 or 5 to 1. I think it's far too big. I'll make a favourite in this race. Kid You're Not's going through the motions. On his old form, he'd be a massive runner here in trap 2. He's a bit of a thinker, the dog, but he's got a bit of pace and stays. But I just don't think he's firing on all cylinders at the moment. 2 together, he's really off the ball in 3. Obladar is from that Ice on Fire Mill Babs litter. I didn't really see too much to get excited about on debut. Universal Queen must have a chance. She ran all right last week, so she's probably in the main danger if getting a run at Scarlet Beauty. And Luna Jet's another one that's probably got a little bit of early, but moves sort of 6 into 4. So has to get everything right at the start. And again, might just clash with the Universal Queen that runs the turn. I thought a clear run for Scarlet Beauty. Go clear and hang on in the closing stages. Just for small stakes, that one at a decent price. In the 8th race, the 8:17, it's a B6, not a great race by any means. I thought Mousy Mac in trap 3 was quite unexposed over this sort of trip, being sprinting, and had a chance to probably lead Pinch of Snow this time. They did meet about 3 runs back behind Host, and I thought Mousy Mac was slightly better than Pinch of Snow. Blindside Bonnie in trap 2, a slow breaker, a bit of a chasey type, that'll be running on. And Carney's Phoebe, likewise, is a 4 to 1 on the Matchbook Exchange. Race 9, first of the 4 sprints to round off the card. I like Ron as well, so just need a decent enough start, show early, cut across and lead this race. And I'm also going to bet Blast Off Mo as well, another one that's been quite kind for us in recent weeks. So yeah, 6 and 1 there at around about 5 to 2 and 3 to 1. Race 10, a tough enough race, this one. Interesting runner is Distant Storm, who's not been the soundest of characters by any means, but will certainly be suited to running with that long run to the bend in sprints, not been coming over the 4.83. So it's a wise move, actually, to put this one into a sprint. Raquel Vicky in trap 6 is really, really short. Odds on, in actual fact. Would win if she broke and cleared them, but she's got a terrible habit of fiddling the bends and doesn't like traffic around to smash. What is 50 meters? She might just smash out. She'll move middle and give Whizzing Jet a real good seam to run through. But I'm not too sure whether that one's all the ticket switching from Harlow and had issues in the past, I know. So all in all, it's a no bet in race 10. Race 11, I quite like this race. Kurt's Rush did us a favour as well just the other day. It's a slightly tougher race, but it's a good makeup because Sugar Biscuit, the next door neighbour in trap 2, is completely walking out of the boxes, not running well at all in actual fact. This is also going to give Mineola Swift a good run to the turn. This one ran all right the other day. Only a youngish short greyhound, quite an exposure, I think can improve. I thought the 11-2 was a ridiculous price. Again, Make My Day Punk should be in trap 6, is in 5. Bungee, Kurt's Rush has already beaten Bungee quite convincingly, albeit the fact it says a short head. Kurt's Rush had excuses there because got dragged back at the first bend. It was, I thought, 2 or 3 lengths better than Bungee. So I'm going to bet 1 Kurt's Rush and 3 Mineola Swift at decent prices. On to the last. I've got to go with Blast Off Millie. We backed her last time out, but luckily enough, we backed Jinxed as well. And sure enough, Blast Off Millie met Jinx at the bend and rather chickened out a little bit. And that is the bit of an Achilles heel for Blast Off Millie. But she's got plenty of speed, lots of early pace, only a moderate breaker. That's the thing. So you just need a half decent break. And I'm sure she'll go to the bend and she can lead here. Jove Lad, she's more of a middle type. So give us plenty of room to the turn. And it will be also saving on Kilgrady Misty. Now, Blast Off Millie and Kilgrady Misty met behind Jinx last time out. Kilgrady Misty had switched to Crayford. And I noticed that she was just kind of easing a little bit. And I'm thinking she might have eased last time out. But because Jinx was there, it might have encouraged her to do that. If she actually breaks here from 4, and Blast Off Millie decides to gear down a little bit in behind, I could see Kilgranny Misty going round. So again, around about a 9-2 chance. I've got to bet the pair of them. Blast Off Millie's been well found now as big as 2-1, but I missed all that. But there's a bit of 6-4 still there. So we're going to bet Blast Off Millie in the last, and also 4 Kilgrady Misty, just in case that comes through the bars. If we can get up with the 3, there you go. 6.28. I'm going to bet 4 Penny's Endeavour at 5-2 and Ballybunion Builder Star a juicy 9-2. Small bet 7.56 Scarlet Beauty in trap 1. In the 8.38 in the sprints, I'm going to bet 1 and 6 coupled. Similarly, in the 9.12, 1 and 3 coupled. And in the 9.28, we're going to bet 1 on top of 4. As ever, be lucky, and we'll see you on Wednesday.